Welcome back, crime fighters. It's time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place for all of us by helping us lock up some bad guys. I'm your host, Chris Wright, along with Chief Deputy Matthew Wade. Matthew, it's been a great week.
Man, I tell you what, somebody's been cooking. It's like a dozen arrests, 12, 1, 2, all because of you. We're going to get more mattresses, and I don't know what we're going to do for jail space. 12 people arrested because of this TV show. That's just phenomenal.
All right, so I got a little bit worried there when you said somebody's been cooking. I thought we were going to have a meth episode here, but okay, no.
If you're cooking meth in this county, you better watch out because this show will get you put in jail. There's no doubt.
Yeah, your neighbors are going to let us know about it. And hats off to the folks in the control room for managing to get all 12 of those pictures up on the screen at one time. That was tough squeezing them all in.
That was tough. Hey, good problem to have. Man, wow, thanks.
Absolutely. Well, here's a bad problem to have. I know all the folks in the area that have large animals are concerned about a couple of incidents. Now, we had some animals that were killed, and we don't know exactly how that happened up in the Alexandria area. But then we had a couple of horses in the Oxford area that were shot and killed. And then shortly thereafter, a couple of zebras were shot and killed in Aniana. That's a little bit out of our jurisdiction, but certainly with that happening in this region, the sheriff's office is going to be paying extra attention and trying to watch out and see if we can prevent something like that from happening inside Calhoun County.
Absolutely. The goats that we had killed mysteriously, we took one of them to the veterinarian. They thought that a wild dog or a pack of dogs might have got those animals, but since we've aired it, there's been no more. So we're not quite sure one way or the other. If that's happening, of course, the horses and down in Oxford, but people need to realize that people's livestock is very expensive. It would be a felony. If you're riding down the road and you shoot somebody's cow.
It's no harmless prank.
No harmless prank, and it'll be a felony. And you know, somebody's cow could be $1,000 or more. So it'd be like going in their house and taking $1,000 out of their house and leaving with it. Not to mention the violent act of actually killing it. It would be something that wouldn't be lightly looked upon, especially since we patrol a lot of rural area. We want to protect our farmers and that's how we get fed.
And of course, with the horses, people love their horses. You have taken a member or two away from the family.
Absolutely. You know, a horse will live 30 years, and somebody buys a horse, it's a long time commitment. You know, they're not only something that they ride or use for farming, it's a pet, something they go out to and call it'll come up, and they have that bond there, and I just couldn't imagine. It's like losing a member of your family.
Certainly, if anybody watching the show has any information about these incidents, we would really appreciate a phone call. You may think that you don't know enough to help, but any information, when it's added to other information, can lead to this being solved and preventing future cases. So please call that into the sheriff's office, or if you see something happening at the moment, call 911.
Always call 911. You know, one thing that we get a lot of times is people will send us emails or tips through our website. Those are not immediate action type things. If you need immediate action, call us. Call 911.
And Facebook, people post things up on Facebook and expect an answer immediately. Facebook's a great tool. We use it a lot, and it's great for getting some information back and forth, but it's not an immediate thing where somebody is definitely going to be able to see that and respond to it. If you've got information that needs to get to somebody immediately, 911 is the way to go for that. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about a problem about some people going door to door and how we're trying to handle that problem.
Absolutely.
When we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
but now I am
Sober.
happy.
I'm found.
was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Crystal Meth. Try me once, I might let you go. But if you try me twice, then I'll own your soul. I take kids from their parents and parents from their kids. I'll take and take until you have no more to give. I'll take everything from you, your looks and your pride. I'll ravage your body and control your mind. Now that you've met me, what will you do? Will you try me or not? It's all up to you.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston, and this is the Parenting Tip of the Week. How quickly are we as parents expecting a change in our children's behavior? This was the major concern in last week's parenting class. After trying a new parenting technique, I often hear parents say, okay, I tried it and it's not working. In fact, I think it has gotten worse. This statement usually comes from frustration when a parent sees no immediate change in their child's behavior, but patience. Parents must first recognize that all children are individuals, and what will move one child to change will not necessarily move another. Changing behavior is usually a slow, step-by-step, and sometimes painful process for everyone concerned. We are all creatures of habit and usually deeply set in our ways. If changing ourselves is difficult, then influencing the behavior of someone else will certainly not be an easy task. Parents who seriously set out to change unwanted behavior can genuinely expect the behavior of children to get worse before it gets better. Children will usually make every effort to get their parents off their backs by making life miserable around the house. Part of parenting the strong-willed child is being able to outweigh your child. Children must become more frustrated than the parent, and typically the person who becomes the most frustrated changes first. Remember, behavioral interventions are not temporary, they are family lifestyle change. Being consistent is the key. Love and affection, positive strokes, positive consequences, and negative consequences are the vitamins for psychological and emotionally healthy children. For more information on this parenting tip or others like this, please contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, Joshua Wirtz. Mr. Wirtz, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation revocation on unlawful manufacture of a controlled substance. And here is Ronnie Phillips. Mr. Phillips, last known to be living in Tucson, Arizona, he's wanted for failure to appear in trafficking in marijuana. And this is Timothy Thomas. Mr. Thomas, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation on assault second. And meet Joy Barnes. Miss Barnes, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for probation violation on fraudulent use of a credit card. And take a look at Ginger Couch. Miss Couch, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for probation revocation on theft of property second. And here is Roy Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, last known to be living in Tucker, Georgia, he's wanted for failure to appear on trafficking in marijuana. And take a look at Katina Jones. Miss Jones, last known to be living in Birmingham, she's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property second. And last up for the first half, Jimmy Rich. Mr. Rich, last known to be living in Cartersville, Georgia, he's wanted for probation revocation on receiving stolen property second. And that's it for the first half of the lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
You get to see more of the bad guys coming up in just a few minutes, but right now we want to talk about some bad guys that might be showing up at your house and what we are doing to prevent that, or at least help you protect yourself when they do show up. Barry Robertson, the Commissioner of Licenses in Calhoun County. Barry, it's good to see you again.
Glad to be here.
All right, and we have got some legislation concerning door-to-door salesmen that people don't necessarily know about and understand, but it's something that we should all know about so that we can make sure when that doorbell rings, we know how to respond.
Well, that's correct, and there's a number of municipalities in the state of Alabama that have a door-to-door license. Calhoun County and a number of other counties do not. The state does not necessarily have anything addressing that. So a couple years ago, the sheriff and I got together, and Matthew can attest to this, they had getting calls left and right about people knocking on doors, selling magazines, vacuum cleaners, you name it, various and sundry things. And we said, what can we do to try to help the citizens and maybe protect them a little more? We're not trying to tell people they can't sell. We're not trying to keep people from making a living. We just want to make sure that we're looking out for the welfare and the interest of the people that live at the homes. And basically what that means is there's a bill that was passed, sponsored by Representative Randy Wood and Senator Fielding, Senator Marsh, and what it does is there's an application process now. So if somebody wants to go and sell goods, whether it's magazines or vacuum cleaners, and they go door to door, they have to go through a process which also includes the sheriff's office and go through a thorough background check. And again, the license is not cost prohibitive. It's $10, and they'll fill out the application through our office, and then we'll send the application to the sheriff's office, and then they'll do a thorough background check, and it'll come back and whether they're accepted or denied.
Any legitimate businessman should be very happy about this, because this is going to make it easier for them to do legitimate work. At $10 is nothing for somebody that's got a real business going. It's going to help keep some of the bad guys from doing it and make things a little bit more clear cut for the people who have a real business.
Well, and that's correct. And what we're going to do and what we're asking for is and we get complaints. The sheriff's office gets complaints. Just recently, Gulf Shores Police Department issued a notice to their citizens: be careful. There's people selling magazine subscriptions, but those that are in business legitimately, it will help them because it'll take the other folks off the road. And basically what you see is you'll have groups. They'll come in clusters, and it could be anywhere from 5 to 10. They'll all ride in a van or the same vehicle, drop them off in the neighborhood. And what we're seeing is we're seeing people that when they drop them off, the van continues to ride in the neighborhood, and people are suspect of that. So what it's going to require is they're going to have an ID lanyard. They're going to have identification on that vehicle, a magnet sign that's going to be 18 by 24 inches in diameter, and it's going to state the name of the business, and it's going to have the telephone number of the name of the business. So if somebody's riding through your neighborhood and they keep seeing a vehicle, and if it's a legitimate business, again, they can call that number, and that name will pop up, and it'll be so and so ABC sales, and they can say somebody's in your neighborhood. Or on the lanyard, it'll have that they received a license through the Commissioner of Licenses office. It'll have their picture on it, and it'll have a contact number. So they can the citizens can call us, or they can call that business. And we encourage them to call us, because we'll know that the background check has been done and that they have gotten a license to do business.
Now, Matthew, what are we going to be looking for on those background checks? Who's going to get a license and who's not?
Well, the law says that no sex offenders and no felons can have one of these licenses. So if you're a sex offender or a felon, we're going to deny that. That's two of the reasons it could be. And we're looking for something that doesn't fit. Nobody wants somebody just coming to their house for the most part in Calhoun County, and we know that because they call us when they do. But this is a good thing to do. At least we'll have a little bit of vetting process there, so when somebody calls, we know if these people are legal or illegal. And having this law really helps us, because if they're doing it illegally, it's a misdemeanor, and deputy sheriffs will be citing them or taking them to jail.
All right, so it's more than just an annoyance. It can be a very serious issue. These people are not doing this. The legitimate businesses, they're doing legitimate business, but the people who are out to get you, they're looking to do bad things. And we're going to take a break here right now, but when we come back, I want to talk about what some of the things are that could happen to you if you allow these people into your home, and also some of the tactics that they use to try to gain access into your home when we come back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Child sexual abuse is hard to talk about. Most children won't. So we have to. If you suspect a child is a victim of sexual abuse, find out how you can help. Call the 24-hour Child Help Hotline at 1-800-4-A-CHILD. That's 1-800-422-4453.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead,
Drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch.
like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken. Sad.
Just lost.
But now I am.
Sober.
Happy.
I'm found.
Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
I'm Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Emerson. Don't risk your life and the lives of others by texting while driving. Put the phone down or safely pull over. Looking down for 1 second is all it really takes. Is it really worth it?
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Clay Ewing. Mr. Ewing, last known to be living in Oxford, he's wanted for violation of the Domestic Violence Protection Order and a probation revocation for violation of a Domestic Violence Protection Order. And meet Brent Bailey. Mr. Bailey, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second. And this is Nicholas Cole. Mr. Cole, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for probation revocation on obstruction of governmental operations. And meet Gilberto Vera. Mr. Vera, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation revocation on theft of property third. And here is Jeffrey Lohman. Mr. Lohman, last known to be living in Gadsden, he's wanted for failure to pay child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And here's another deadbeat dad, Titus Sterling, last known to be living in Oxford. Yes, he's wanted for failure to pay child support. And last up on our lineup this week, Jonathan Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for harassing communications ×2. And that's it for our lineup this week. If you recognize any of those folks and know where they are, give us a call at 256-238-1414.
Crime fighting is not done. We've got the Crime Stoppers segment coming up in just a few minutes. We'll talk about some crimes that have been committed here recently. Hopefully you can help us solve those. But right now, we're talking about trying to prevent some future crimes by preventing the bad people from being able to go door to door in Calhoun County. And Barry Robertson, Commissioner of License, is with us. Barry, these people that are out there running scams door to door, what are some of the things that can happen if we actually let them inside our home?
Well, and Matthew, you could probably talk about that a little bit more so than I could, because I know that they're probably casing residents. I know in one particular situation that happened not too long ago that it was at night, and what another thing this law does is after sundown it prohibits anybody from going door to door. Nobody is allowed to knock on doors if the sun's down. It's really because of sunset. It was about 9:30 in the evening, and we responded to a call that the sheriff's office had already responded to, Jacksonville Police Department, and there were 4 individuals, and the individuals were in the neighborhood. And we were able to find 3, bring them back to a centralized area. There was still 1 that we could not find, and they were in a home. After that person was found, they were brought back, and it turned out that person had an outstanding warrant out of Pelham, Alabama. So they were immediately placed in the sheriff's car, and the other individuals in the van were from out of state. And the driver of the van, after I checked their license, actually had a suspended license out of Florida. So those are the type things that we run into. We question that. Again, we don't want to try to prohibit somebody from doing business, but at the same time, why does somebody need to be out that late at night, normally, again, out of state, and having suspended and revoked licenses? And normally,
not for good reasons. Not
for good reasons, and again, Matthew probably sees it all the time.
What we've had, they're very pushy. Somebody says, I'm not interested. We've got reports they put their foot in the door, that they've almost come in the house on them. A lot of times there'll be more than one. One will be trying to demonstrate the product. The second one will say, can I use your restroom? And goes somewhere off in the other part of the house. We've caught them in bedrooms. Not all of them. And we're talking about the wrong cases that we've had. But They work in tandem. They do that. Most of them we come across have criminal records. They actually came to my house a couple of years ago, and I had them so flustered they wanted to leave. Of course, I wouldn't let them. One of them had warrants. The driver had a suspended driver's license, and we towed the van and took the guy to jail, and they hadn't been back in my neighborhood, so I think most of my neighbors were appreciative of that, but most of them we come across, even the first people that we had apply for licenses, every one of them were ineligible to get a license because of their criminal history. So we just
that's why we're doing it.
We want to, hey, we're not against a businessman. We're not against people who want to do legitimate business, but we are all about protecting people in their homes.
And if somebody comes and visits your home, especially if they get indoors, even if they leave and nothing bad has happened, that doesn't mean it's finished. They may have just gotten information about your home to come back when you're not there.
You know, inadvertently, well, where do you work, ma'am or sir? Well, I work at the sheriff's office. You work night shift? No, I work Monday through Friday, and they gather all this information. They know when you're not home, and not only that, they scout it out to see what it is they want to take when they come back. Most people that get approached by these people aren't happy that they're there. They have problems getting them to leave. Now we have a definite law, thanks to Sheriff Emerson and Barry Robinson working together to get this done, where deputy sheriffs we didn't have really anything other than a ticket.
And Chris, it's important to know that our District Attorney Brian McVeigh has stipulated that he will prosecute. If that's brought before his office, he will prosecute. He was involved in the legislation and working in Montgomery to also help pass this through our local delegation.
So let's talk about the licenses themselves. Somebody comes to my door, it's before sunset, so that part of it's legitimate. What am I looking for from that person to make sure that they have been approved to be out doing this? Even if I'm not interested in their product, what do I need to see to know that they are legitimate under the law?
Ask for their license. It's fairly simplistic. Ask for the license. It'll have a stamp from our office stating that they received it from the Commissioner License Office. Just ask for that, and if they have any questions, just call us. And if it's after hours, call the Sheriff's Office, and that's all you need to do.
It's got to be during the daylight hours. They got to have a picture ID hanging on their neck, visible, clearly visible is what the law says. Their van's got to have that sticker that says they're whatever company. And if they're not doing those three things, they're not legal.
And it's important to know, Chris, this does not apply to volunteer organizations, Girl Scout, Cub Scout selling cookies.
So
volunteer
my niece is not going to get locked up for going door to door.
Volunteer fire departments, veterans organizations, churches, any type of religious tenant, those are not affected. Okay. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that as well. But I did have a similar situation to Matthew. The gentleman walked up in my yard and he said, "Hey, you want to go to Europe?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And I knew where this was going. He said, he hands me a form. He said, "I'm selling magazines." Very personable young man. And he had a sleeveless shirt on and blue jeans and a chain from his hanging down his attire. And I said, "Well, tell me what you're doing." "Well, if you sell so many magazines, I can qualify for a scholarship, and you can earn points, and you can qualify for a trip to Europe." And I said, "Oh boy." And I said, "Are you the only one selling?" He goes, "No, we've got some other folks out here." And I said, "Well," and this was maybe 6 weeks prior to the legislation passing. And I said, in about 2 months, you're going to be required to get a door-to-door sales license to allow you to do this. And you're going to have to go through a background check. You're going to have a lanyard just for future reference. He goes, "Man, I've been clean since 2009. So I don't know. I don't know what all that meant. It might not have been good, but I just know I didn't really want them on my property.
Absolutely. Well, some great information. And again, if people have questions, they can call your office and get the answers, or call the sheriff's office. We appreciate the work in getting this legislation passed, and I hope that it makes a big difference for the community here. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our crazy criminal of the week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead,
Drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch.
like me.
I once was.
homeless,
Broken. Sad.
Just lost.
but now I am.
Sober.
Happy.
I'm found.
Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Looking for a new or used vehicle? AOD Federal Credit Union can help. We offer low interest rates and financing terms to work with your budget. We can save you time and money, whether it's at one of our convenient office locations or through one of our participating dealers. Visit an office, call, or head to AODFCU.com to get your best deal now. Low auto loan rates, always at AOD Federal Credit Union. Certain restrictions may apply. To obtain additional details and cost information, call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Being with you was a blast. Our future together was looking pretty good. We had some great times. Everything was going so great. But you made a stupid choice that killed our relationship. I'm gonna miss you.
His choice was to drink and then drive. Underage drinking can cost you your freedom. Drinking and driving can cost you your future. There is no future with alcohol.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put on your deer stalkers and help our investigators with these cases. First up on your caseload this week, on February 15th, a red Yamaha Big Bear ATV was stolen from this residence on Thompson Road in Ohatchee. And between February 17th and February 18th, a suspect or suspects attempted to steal a black Yamaha motorcycle. That motorcycle was parked at this residence on Poplar Drive in Alexandria. And last up on our caseload this week, on February 21st, suspect or suspects stole copper and brass from this business located on Golden Springs Road in Anniston. If you have any information on these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
I don't want to be too much help to the bad guys, but Matthew, a tip that the criminals might want to know: if you steal a stereo system and forget to take the remote control, don't come back for it.
You know, people often wonder that we probably talk about the crazy criminal stuff beforehand, but we don't.
No.
And you know, you can't make this kind of stuff up.
A guy broke into a house, stole the stereo system. 30 minutes later, he comes back because he'd forgotten the remote control and wasn't able to turn the stereo on and control it. So he gets back, and lo and behold, the police were there taking the report.
You know, it's the small things in life that get you. You know, it's always get that little greedy in you.
And one quick thing before we go, I saw where somebody has just opened a police department has opened a drive-through window so that people can handle their stuff a little bit more quickly. People don't have to come inside and file a report. Any plans on that at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office?
You know, maybe. I mean, it depends on if we can get them in and out quicker. Maybe we can do that. I don't know. But pretty innovative.
As long as we don't have drive-through at the jail. We need to keep them for a little while.
We have drive-through at the jail. You drive in, close the doors, they get out and come in. And it's kind of like the Roach Motel. You check in, you just don't check out.
There you go. All right. Well, we appreciate you watching Calhoun County's Most Wanted each week. Again, especially for this week, 12 arrests. That's thanks to you and the information that you have shared with the Sheriff's Office. So please keep that information coming. If you needed to see the lineup, you missed the first part of it, then you can go to Facebook.com and check out the video there with this week's lineup. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.